Okay, and
All right.
it is Inane Blather episode Nintendo 64.
Numero 64.
Shout out to all the people that remember Nintendo 64s, am I right?
Only 90s kids will get this.
Exactly. Yeah, no one's ever heard of one if you were born after 1995. No,
Yeah, they were kind of like, they kind of weren't that popular, you know, they kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah.
Not many people have heard of N64s anyways.
Yeah,
so.
you can't pay money to have the opportunity to play Nintendo 64 games on your Switch like I do, like I was just doing the other night. No, instead, this is such a professional podcast. Instead, you listen to Inane Blather episode number 64.
Interesting choice.
Yes, interesting choice, but you do that because of the incessant bullying from those
Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
We are bullies.
yeah, and that's because we are
head bonked individuals.
so
Head bonked individuals.
yes, exactly. And sing. So how was your day? How was your Monday?
It was great. I have Mondays off, so it was a lovely day. I went camping this last
day.
weekend with a bunch of my friends. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you went camping. Where'd you go? Camping.
It's a place called, it's like Bandera is where it's called. It's kind of like North Bend, Snoqualmie area.
Bandera.
It was really nice. There was like maybe 14 or 15 of us there. It was a Yoni retreat.
Cool.
Power of the pussy. You know, it was really
Yoni
fun.
retreat.
Yeah, it's like all just a bunch of my friends
Just
that we
doing
get together
Kegels
and we
in
kind
the
of.
woods or what? I don't get it.
Now there's like nudity and consensual boobies, mild debauchery,
Oh, okay.
and then like intentional time, like sitting. We did a couple group activities. Kelsey made up a questionnaire that we asked like people about being interested in communal living and like trying to build a life that we're trying to build like with
my name's Natalie.
like,
Let's
work
go out
together.
in the woods and do homework. Nerd.
One of my friends is a teacher, so she's pretty strict.
God. No, that's awesome. Good.
It was so much fun. Yeah, the weather was beautiful. We had a pretty dope setup. We have a great blue velvet couch that comes apart into 4 pieces, so we take that like camping with us. It fits in mine and Kelsey's car, like either one of them.
Awesome.
So so we had a couch out there, a bunch of tapestries hung up on the trees and stuff. It was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. And then today was a day off. Hung out with my partners and just chilled. Really, I didn't get out of bed till 11:30.
Nice.
So
I had a big day.
It was,
I tried to get up early, but it was
did
last.
a big job.
Yeah, but I tried to get up early, but I got up a little late, if you know what I mean. It's like the guy who tells his doctor, I've got a problem. I just regularly, every morning, I take a shit at 8 a.m. on the dot. And the doctor says, well, that doesn't sound like much of a problem. You're very irregular. He says, well, the problem is I wake up at 9. Yeah, but no, it's the last day of summer break today.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I thought it would be like, oh, we'll get all the odds and ends and get everything ready for the week. And got Sophia picked out an outfit. So she has a new pair of pants. She was so into these flared jeans that they had there. I was like, oh my God. And this cute t-shirt she picked that says, what does it say? Smile every day or something. And
Or else.
yeah, and she's bringing her gun because it's an American school. But and got her a little pair of white shoes and then did all my grocery shopping, and then it was like, oh, well, that actually didn't take too long. We got some good stuff. Go home, put the groceries away. It's like, great.
That's my good stuff.
I guess I have a bunch of free time before the school open house, so I better do the rest of the stuff on my list. And it was so fucking hot today. Like, I don't know. There's just certain.
It was like 70 degrees here. It was cold.
Tomorrow,
we're like, what is this, August?
I don't know what's happening overnight, but tomorrow it's going to be rain and thunderstorms and a high of like 80. So, but today I was mowing the lawn and it was literally 100 degrees. And,
Yikes.
and it was just one of those days where it's like, gosh, I mean, I've been out in 97 degrees many times this summer, but there's certain days where there's something to the whole UV level, like being moderate or high and stuff, where it's like, I'm covered in sunscreen,
Intense.
but it just feels so hot in the sun. I mean, of course it feels hot, but
Clear day.
it's noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we got some wind and rain and stuff over the past
that
week.
smoke out.
A bunch of
Yeah.
the smoke is gone, and suddenly I'm like, ugh. It's all clear. It's hot. Ugh, I'm going to get a sunburn. But
Die either from lung cancer or skin cancer.
Yeah.
Those are your two options with climate change.
well, I had to. That's right. And shout out to a listener. Yesterday, I didn't mow my lawn because I went and helped Wendy out. Shout out to Wendy, a big supporter of the show, but their car broke down. I was just about to mow the lawn, and I was sitting there like, okay, should I mow the lawn next or should I do some laundry? I should mow the lawn. And then I got a call like, oh, we're broken down outside of Pendleton. What can you do? And eventually we got it done. It was, easy peasy.
Pendleton.
But yeah, I was like, well, that was, that was better than mowing a lawn. Going
went
and helping,
better than the worst it could have possibly
going
gone.
and helping
Yeah.
out someone else,
That went slightly better than the worst it could have possibly gone.
And that is very true. And Wendy will tell you. But yeah. And then, we pulled her car off the dolly and I just peeled out and I sped away. I was just like,
Suck a dick, dumb shit.
yeah, that's my...
Like sprayed gravel in her face.
yeah. I was like, see ya. 2 middle fingers up, crashed into a tree because I wasn't
She's like,
steering. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Start driving all the way out there and then just ruining your truck afterwards. No, but
Yeah, the one tree in eastern Washington you ran into.
I just couldn't get enough of that tree.
Sounds like you're pretty into this, buddy.
But okay, so
Nice.
you had something that you wanted to rant about.
Yeah. His name is Vivek Ramaswamy. Is that how you say it?
Never heard of him.
He is a current. He's a.
That's how you say it.
He's,
That's his middle name.
That's how you
and
say
that's
it,
not
yeah.
a racist joke, okay? It's a joke against young
because he's a
Republican guys. Yeah.
He I just heard a snippet thing and it really was like an onion, like the onion kind of situation where it was like he said that because of his experience in the pharmaceutical industry and as a hedge fund manager, he can make good deals for the American people. And I was thinking, literally, I don't know that you could pick two more like hated industries to work in that literally almost pretty much universally, Americans hate. Like we
Yeah.
just think that you guys do the worst kind of jobs. Talk about money hungry pharmaceuticals. That's something that definitely crosses both aisles, that it's like people with diabetes can be whatever political
Yeah.
affiliation or, so.
Oh, yeah.
And hedge
you know
funds.
who I'm voting for president? Martin Shkreli. Yeah, he'll be great. Look how much
Legit,
money
it's
he
like-
made off of, what was that? Was that AIDS medication or was that something like that? I forget.
I feel like, was it
But
an AIDS treatment? Something like
maybe it
really,
was
really
diabetes.
helpful.
No, yeah,
Or-
it was insulin,
yeah.
wasn't it?
I can't remember,
I
but
don't
it
know.
was
Fuck that guy.
just something like very helpful and like necessary for
Yeah.
people to live. And he just because price gouge and all that, and like
Yeah.
I just think it's really interesting
Price
to use that
gouging,
as
letting
like
people die, and he's just like,
This is
Yeah.
politics.
I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you should run for president, asshole.
yeah, that's what Ramaswamy.
Is it Vivek
just-
or Vivek? Oh, I think it's
Like, it just seems like something he'd want to distance himself from. Like, he's like, I can make good deals. I don't really
Yeah.
understand what that means either. Like, what does that mean? Like, and what do you, and those deals that you're talking about that you made good deals, who who they were at the expense of was like literally us, who you're trying to like
Yeah.
be in charge of and like caretake all these humans that you literally
You're-
just were like, fuck you guys. Like, I'm getting, like, this is all about money.
Your
and then he wants to be
experience
the leader of
of
a nation.
making good deals is in the context of making money for pharmaceutical companies. Like,
Yeah,
that's what a
hedge
good
funds.
deal is in your experience. And I mean, a great deal is just fraud, because of course, and Aaron Brown brought it up this morning. And I just
about
heard that over
dementia
the weekend.
thing or Alzheimer's treatment or something.
Yeah, that his whole quote unquote experience in pharmaceuticals as a hedge fund manager, the way that he made his initial wealth, and I forget, shout out to whoever was talking about that just after the debate, but was a pump and dump scheme. Like the whole Alzheimer's treatment that he did, he
Gave her the
talked
old
it
pump
up.
and dump.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's why. No, it was AIDS treatment. No. What? But yeah, it was just straight up like, I don't know. He was just one of the many that just gets to slip through doing something like that. Of
Like artificially like inflating values and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You mean, is that like
I
what
mean,
he's doing? And, like getting people to sell out,
talking it
and-
up enough as an initial investor and founder of part of the stuff. I don't know. He was in on the ground floor, talked it up, and very likely knew that it would not work. So sold out, made $40 million. And then it turned out, oh shit, this medication doesn't work. It's not going to be approved anywhere. And the whole thing tanked and everyone else lost their ass. And like, I mean, it's just,
And he wants to be,
it's
literally
almost,
the leader of our country. He wants to care for us and care about like what affects us, drug prices and homelessness and food insecurity and education, all those kind of stuff. That motherfucker, man, the arrogance, the total lack of awareness. It would be laughable, genuinely. Like he is, like these guys are such caricatures of like, can you imagine? I can't imagine an Onion article, being like, oh, a former hedge fund manager says he knows what's best for
right.
Americans
That's a good
or
point.
whatever.
Yeah. Now I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Pharmaceutical lobbyist and hedge fund manager, or it's like, it's like, okay.
Says, I have
here's
the little people in mind.
Here's the Republican field, right? It's like every single one of them, you could just do a funny summary that's like an Onion article headline, because it's like,
Let's do that.
internet-brained hedge fund manager and pharmaceutical tech fraudster says he can get the best deals in healthcare for America. It's like another one. Guantanamo Bay interrogation supervisor thinks that he knows what's best for the American military. That's fucking, what's his name? DeSantis.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
He
wrote this
spineless.
and he said something about being in the military, being in the service. I know what blank, like starting a sentence like that. And it's like, for one, I don't really care too much, even if you are not being disingenuous with that whole line of reasoning, but being in the service, bro, you were like a lawyer overseeing Guantanamo Bay detainment. Like, fuck you. Like, or was it Guantanamo Bay or was it Abu Ghraib? It was just one of the worst ones. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I think it's Guantanamo.
Loving dork with no charisma says he can win the highest office in the land.
Yeah. And it's like, man who narrowly escaped being hung by Republican voters during an insurrection at most recent GOP loss. Feels that he can run the country. Just like, who are these people?
Yeah. Former vice president faces crowd of people
who previously wanted to hang him. Quote, we can work together for a better America. So let's see. DeSantis, Guantanamo. Oh.
I just think
Showtime, that was last month. Showtime pulls documentary about DeSantis's controversial history at Guantanamo Bay. Weird.
He seems like he would be really gross and weird to people.
Why did they cancel
that
this
were
documentary?
Prisoners.
I don't get it. Of course. He's a fucking
such like
psycho.
He is, and he's so incredibly, unbelievably boring. He is so like, I'm like, shut up, nerd. Like, I want to poke him in the forehead and be like, shut up.
Push him in the forehead. Like,
Fucking stupid F-word bitch.
Yes, I hope you get ass cancer and die.
you son of a bitch. Yeah, exactly.
Bro, this is such a funny take.
No, that's
He's
not
just
what I
like-
meant. Every single
He's
brown
just so
person
boring.
that DeSantis runs into, he's like,
That's it. That's jailable. That's jailable. Throw him in jail right now. That's jailable.
I even read like his response to that horrible like racist mass shooting that happened in Florida, and his response, okay, for one thing, honestly, I laughed so hard when he's like trying to address this is like a vigil for like people who were murdered in this shooting spree, and people are just booing DeSantis.
Oh my
At
God.
this incredibly, I mean, this is like really heavy stuff, and they're just like boo, boo, like he's trying to talk about a mass murder, and people are just like fuck you.
sorry, DeSantis, but this is politics. No.
This is politics.
Yeah. How could he ever be a comfort? The things he was saying, it was so incredibly basic and just boring and stupid. It's like, this shouldn't happen in the state of Florida. It's like, why even say, just
Shut up, dude.
It's like
You've done
he's like the
nothing to
worst
make
kind of-
anything better.
yes.
If anything, you've probably done things to make it worse. Just sit this one out. All you have to do is just sit it out. Like, that's what gets me. Like, not only the stupidity, in my opinion, like the stupidity required to arrive at these ideological positions or policy takes and stuff when you're in the Republican field. There's that stupidity there, but also the stupidity to, one, like, not read the room so many times, like make these really basic mistakes. Oh man, today. And that happens on both sides, but some of these politicians where it's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that they're so far out of touch. And two, the stupidity to, I already lost my train of thought. There was another thing.
but I'm too stupid to know it.
Yeah. Oh, and then to actually think like that, like you're on it. Like you're that anything that you're doing and saying is worthwhile on like a federal
like
level.
helping the dialogue.
Yeah, like helping the dialogue or like good for like your actual campaign for the presidency, things like that, where it's like either you're just being like some loudmouth with ulterior motives, which so many people running at 1% are,
course.
you know, I mean, this is politics, you know, or whatever. Like, you're just gunning for a cabinet spot. That's way more straightforward than it's like, okay, so this guy believes a stupid thing, and for whatever reason, I actually believe that he thinks he has a chance. That is stupid. like not only just the fact that you're up there running already disqualifies you from being smart enough to be the president. Because it's like who the fuck are you, dude? Like, I don't know. I mean, you never know. Things happen. Guys jump up in the polls and stuff like that. Just look at Vivek, you know, but I mean, in the current context, it's like, well, Trump's winning. I mean, who knows if he dropped out because he gets actually jailed or something like that. Like, I mean, I guess Vivek, which rhymes with cake, might overtake
nice
DeSantis, who's dumb as a rake. But,
nice. Nice.
Yeah, you have to lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go.
You better never let it go.
Yeah, whatever the words are.
You only get one
Vivek
shot.
knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear Eminem send him a cease and desist?
And
all these right-wingers are so, he's got Trump derangement syndrome, which, okay, no one said anything about Trump, dude. But they're just like, stupid liberal crybaby. It's like, okay. It's like, on one hand, if he truly doesn't like Vivek, he should know that every time he goes up there and raps Eminem again, he just loses more people because it's so cringe. And like
So incredibly
there's
cringe.
the bass that doesn't understand it and doesn't know the song, and there are the other independents that are like, ugh, don't do that. Even Bill Maher,
Yeah,
right?
like-
Bill Maher on his show, he's like,
know,
yeah,
he's
don't
like-
do that again.
Don't do that.
It's like, all right, finally, Bill Maher had his one good take of the year. But I don't know. It's like, okay, on one hand, either you let him keep doing it because it's bad for his campaign anyway, or on the other hand, he truly like hears it and he's like, fuck that. That's my song. It's been parodied and out there enough, but I don't want that guy constantly singing my song. Fuck him. Like, stop
Yeah.
singing my song.
Like, it's embarrassing me. It's hurting.
Exactly.
It hurts
It's
to
literally
hear.
hurting
Yeah.
the legacy of one of my worst hits.
Yeah. One of my most well-known worst songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. At least in my opinion for Eminem. But, you know, I'm the one you come to for hip hop advice.
Yeah.
Doug is he's the real deal.
You know, it's just how I was grown. But
Just
so Vivek, you don't think he has a big chance because what? Just because he was a pharmaceutical guy? What have you got against?
No, I just think
pharmaceutical
it's-
guy?
Yeah, I think it's really weird to stand on that platform as like something that people will find inspiring. Be like, literally, like, I don't know that you could choose two other like industries that people hate more. The pharmaceutical industry, it's like nobody trusts us. Even people who trust the science and all the doctors and all that kind of stuff. It's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
You guys like literally kill people with your greed.
It's like, you know what would make
And
this
then-
better? Combining it with Silicon Valley venture capitalist douchebags.
Yeah, hedge funds. That's like literally
Yeah.
they only exist
It's like, no,
because
it's not
of
Silicon
capitalism.
Valley, it's Wall Street.
It's like yeah, the most like non-job. I feel like
Yeah.
hedge fund managers,
it's like you're
most
a
middleman you can
landlord
get.
for other money. Like,
Yeah,
not even
it's-
people.
People, it's like no one even really knows what's going on. We just think you guys all just do coke and take our money.
I
so-
wish that's all they were doing. Instead, they're probably
Yeah.
just doing so many sleazy deals as to make things common practice enough before they're outlawed by the FTC and SEC, and then they crash the economy eventually. That's
Yeah,
all
cool.
that trading is, really. You know what sucks? Every driver in the state of Oregon, get off the road. Fuck you people.
I don't know where you live. I think the drivers are pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
so
Exactly.
because you're close to Oregon.
I guess. I don't know what it is. It bleeds over here. Like, yeah, so if you're listening from Oregon,
And you're in
fuck you.
Oregon.
I don't know.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm just behind people constantly. Come on. Hurry up.
Yeah.
It's
Come
just
on,
over and over
come
and
on.
over again.
And then you're like,
I'll
slap
cut
my
your throat.
salami,
I'll
the
come to
guy's
your
a
house and
commie.
kill your children.
yes, both Will Arnett.
Yes,
Slap my where? I
that's
don't
what I
even
was
know where I
thinking.
have that, but so now we're kind of behind on some of the funny stories. But Mr.
We do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
was doing a little trolling on
Mr. Worldwide.
yeah, with this guy.
Trump's a racist, they scream. Stop him.
I did see that
Holy
interview that they
shit.
did together.
was
What a
amazing.
loser Tucker Carlson is. What a like little simping loser. Like how
Yes.
he just hates Trump so much and then is all like, "Oh, can I suck your dick any better, Mr. President?"
Yeah,
Like,
and the fact that
he's-
Trump too, where it's like it makes you think again about Trump's whole like being about loyalty to a fault, like as in like he's a jealous bitch, like and like he'll turn on you in a second, and he holds grudges, and like all that stuff. That's kind of part of who he is, and some people like that for whatever reason because he's a
Petty people like petty
petty,
people. Yeah.
bitchy real estate guy from New York City.
You know, wait.
But
wait, I was going to say, someone just sent me something that said Trump would make the perfect drag queen. Like the cadence of their voice, their showiness. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that's so true. If they were just like a good kind of weird.
That's
like,
why...
Not like the greedy kind of
That's
weird.
why he's constantly wearing lifts, is because he
and
longs
makeup.
for heels.
So much makeup.
Yes, and he's wearing makeup and
so
tanner.
much makeup.
He probably spends an hour a day on his hair,
And
whatever
he's so
he's doing there.
Over the top, like all of his gestures, and it's called a trolling. We do a little trolling, he's like such like a bitch. Like he's such a bitchy person.
I
that
did
he'd be
everything
perfect
right,
as a
and
drag
they
queen.
indicted me.
I didn't call. Yeah. I didn't call Chris Christie a fat slob.
Fat pig. It's even better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. Don't call him a fat pig.
Yeah. No.
But
we're just doing a little trolling. We call it a little trolling.
It was pretty great though, him being on Tucker. Just pure uncut
Trumping it up.
Trump nonsense for like an hour.
Pure uncut Trump.
And I was gonna say that whole, not just Tucker being, like Aaron Brown said, it sounds more like it'd be like a little dog. Tucker. Oh, Tucker got out again.
Yeah.
But
Tucker made a mess. Yeah.
but Trump not being his normal grudge holding self, because he knows the only reason he's sitting here with Tucker is because because he's not with Fox News. Fox News dropped him because Tucker cost him like $750 billion or whatever. No, $1 million.
Yeah.
And all those texts were out about how much he hates Trump. He wanted Trump
That's
gone.
the part that I'm
and
like,
it's just like,
this is so
Trump
weird.
never brought that up. Instead, he wanted to be petty with Tucker about like, oh, you know about them at Fox News, and Tucker's like, oh yeah, they're the worst. Oh yeah, and it got brought up a couple times where he's like, oh, I'm not friends with anyone there. It's like, ew, I used to go to that school. They're all bitches.
Ew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah,
wow,
ew.
you guys
You don't want
are
to be
like
friends with them anyways.
yeah, now because you guys are both mad at Fox News, the thing that made both
binds
of
you together. Yeah.
Like, I mean, Tucker had been around for a while, but Fox News, that was the biggest thing he'd ever done. The only reason Trump, like, wasn't murdered within a week was because of Fox News. I don't know. It's like, once they finally jumped on the Trump train, they helped you get elected. Like, he almost admitted that, because they were kind of anti-Trump during the primaries. And then, yeah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were the nominee, and they stood behind you no matter what. You idiot.
Even though they hated you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
and finally, like,
they're like, Trump's
forced,
a racist.
Yeah, they're forced.
Trump's a racist, they scream. Stop him.
But,
This is propaganda.
yeah, that's what they were doing. Yeah.
right.
Welcome back to Tucker Carlson tonight, and
This is propaganda.
so
Perfect.
sit down.
Excellent intro.
And just listen to it.
Sit down.
But like, where was I going with that? Who knows? Anyway, it was just kind of funny though, like hearing him veer off. I mean, it's really frustrating if you want to get anything out of it, right? I mean, and it sucks if you actually want to sit there and think about like, oh my God, this guy could be president again, or this guy is totally the nominee for the GOP, and you hear a question, some loaded question from Tucker, and you even want to hear a response from Trump, and he veers off, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's almost like an anger management thing.
Nothing you can do.
Just enjoy what's going on, You can't change what other people do. So instead it's like, yes, he's veering off. He's talking about the Panama Canal.
Yes.
When like Tucker asked him a
Let him
question
talk.
about like
Yeah.
Hunter Biden corruption or something, and now he's talking about people dying of malaria instead in like 1905 or whatever it was. Like,
it's talking about Frederick
did he-
Douglass or something.
Yeah, it's like every once in a while you could tell that Trump just like left the History Channel on or something like that, and it's like, oh, this is what he's talking about. Yeah, Frederick Douglass. It had to have been something like that. Oh, a lot of people don't even know they're saying great things about Frederick Douglass. Like, did you just learn who Frederick Douglass was last night?
We learned about that in elementary school.
It's like, and now it's like, yeah, and then we sold it for $1. What a terrible deal. Now China runs the Panama Canal. It's like, you just saw a little 22-minute thing about the Panama Canal, didn't you? Because none of this matters in any way whatsoever to geopolitical order right now, even if China literally owned the Panama Canal, which they don't.
They owned that canal.
Yeah. It's like, it still doesn't matter, and there's nothing you can do about it as president, if you're president, and it's just so funny. I don't know. I wish he'd been at the debate, but, you know, instead I watched Ahsoka on Disney Plus and just got to have all the good clips from the debate and clips from Trump being interviewed. So
yeah, I can't hack all that like straight watching the debates. You know, I can't sit through it without, not by myself anyways. Hell no, I couldn't. I really admire all these content creators that do that. I'm like, thank goodness, because that's like a blast. Not in a fun way, like a blast, like a fire
opening
hydrant
a
to
blast
your face.
furnace and the heat.
Yeah, and,
you know, just coming out like, oh,
this is propaganda.
My eyebrows,
yeah.
it just dried
like,
out your eye sockets. Like, oh,
it's awful. Yeah, I really can't. The cringe sometimes is just too much. How incredibly frustrating it is. Like to hear these people, those people. I just did want to mention about that.
I mean, those people.
What Ron DeSantis saying that this shouldn't happen in Florida and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, not really addressing, like,
idiot.
People are just going to say he's like some weirdo, you know, loser, white supremacist. He had a swastika carved onto one of his guns that he had.
Oh, yeah, that one was very straightforward. Yeah.
But it's also like addressing...
It's like, which one? Which recent shooting?
Yeah, this one just the other day. Yeah, the weekend. That it's like not addressing like systemic racism. I mean, it's like Ron DeSantis saying this, there's no place for this in Florida, blah, blah, blah. And then like not allowing, like, okay. And then allowing PragerU to be taught in schools, which downplays all this kind of racial problems, to say the least, that we've that we've had in the United States. And then you're going to also say, like, there's no place for that in Florida, blah, 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 when you're, like, just like actively
Florida
contributing to the culture that creates that.
What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. I use Florida as the example when I go to the door. When people, I'm like, yeah, we're doing all of the work. You know, Amnesty is working in the United States, doing all this work. And what sums it up, pretty much all the things we're working on, you just think of Florida. You think of LGBTQ rights, you know, you think of police brutality, think of like immigration with Ron DeSantis was the one that's like a disgusting human
Florida
trafficker.
And Texas. I mean, Texas just does everything.
Texas already gets so much of the glory
behind.
for being shitty.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, just if you're just looking at it literally or objectively, like in terms of policies that are being enacted and all this stuff, Florida and Texas, it's like, this is just the example of what we don't want America to be. Like, that's it.
And it's really unfortunate because, you know, they're really, really, those are like, it's like California, New York, Florida, Texas, or whatever order that is. Those are like the top 4 most populous states in the entire nation. So it's like thinking about, Texas, but that's like Austin and Dallas.
If
and
you're
these
an
cities
American,
that are totally being held.
There's a 1 in 5 chance you live in either California or Texas. 20% of the U.S. population lives in those 2 states.
Yeah, and so it affects what Texas does. Man, it really affects a lot of people. Florida, too, though. They have a lot of people that live there and are really, it's like, I mean, not that every single person doesn't count, but if it was only happening in like Wyoming, you know, it's like only less than 1 million people are affected. We're talking tens and tens of millions of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really being like held hostage by their governments. Like, it's really, really, when I talked to people from like Tennessee when I was working on the phones doing my work, they were really like, I talked to 3 people that I remember from Tennessee that were so like frustrated with their leadership.
Exasperated.
Like, so just like Tennessee, though, I was like, you got those state reps that are dope, though, that gave those that got kicked
Sure.
out for like protesting gun violence. I was like, those guys were really inspiring,
Yeah.
like the speeches they gave and all that kind of stuff. So there's people working at it on a state level, you know, like, or people within the state.
Well, just look at that. It's like
government.
Yeah, you have those state reps, which are a known thing because of the other state reps that are the opposite, that are in the Tennessee
that
State House,
suck.
that
Yeah.
kicked them out, and that even brought them to that position in the first place where they didn't want to do anything. That was gun reform, right? Is what it was, or
Yeah, they were protesting gun violence, and they got kicked out because
they were black.
you can't do that.
Because they were black and loud.
Protesting while black, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, it just is really sad to. It's just so. Like, Ron DeSantis, I just really don't get how he became ever a leader. Like, what is it about him that I guess he just schmoozed with the right people to get on a ticket or something?
No,
because
it's
just like.
one of the few times that Trump is right in saying, "Oh, I'm the one who helped get him elected." I mean, that's true. Going back to that fucking insane,
you schmooze the right person,
and it's like, and going back to that insane interview, it's so funny because Trump is so in denial about his effect on statewide tickets, like because. For one thing, in that interview, he's like, "Oh yeah," and then Mitch McConnell, he's like talking shit about Mitch McConnell, and he was gonna lose, you know, until I stepped in and endorsed him. It was like, what? He was gonna lose to Amy McGrath? I remember that. I'm not in Kentucky. No, he wasn't. You moron. What are you talking about? Trump thinks he has some sort of effect on Mitch McConnell winning by literally 20 points in his reelection to the Senate. But DeSantis is, you know, I mean, Florida is pretty much a red state now, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
guess
only
that-
because of certain, wind changes like that, because the population of Florida seems to be more progressive than what their representatives end up being. I mean, because just look at a few years ago with No Brainer changing the law to let felons vote again, to restore
for
voting
sure.
rights to felons. I think is like a really underrated thing that people should talk about more
that's
often.
really cool.
Like it kind of is a good barometer on like how much have you really thought about, you know, your views on representative democracy or, you know, just politics in general. It's like how often people just think it's some default. It's like, yeah, everyone should vote. Unless if you're a felon, then you can't vote. It's like, what? Why? Like, interrogate that for 1 second, please, because that's not...
Talk about taxation without representation.
Yeah, really.
It's like, so you're back in society and living and like having stuff taken out of your paychecks, and then you literally have no say when you already went to jail or prison.
It means
or
they're
whatever.
just extending your... not imprisonment, but your
Sentence.
punishment. Yeah. It's like, it's just like a form of parole.
But I think things like that in Florida, that thing happened because of like a group of people trying to make it happen. It wasn't
that's
like
what I'm saying.
like elected officials.
So the people
like doing something good.
If it's brought to the people, then they'll often, just like any state, but it's notable in Florida that when brought to the people, they're more progressive than what Florida is through their policies and stuff. And like the fact that Ron DeSantis, it was a much closer race the first time than you would think it would be, looking back and seeing like Ron DeSantis as like a national figure and stuff. It's like he had kind of a close race with an absolute bumbling, moronic Democratic campaigner that had no support from the National Party and all that stuff. And Trump stepped in and was like, this is my guy. And vice versa, DeSantis was the cringiest Trump ball-sucking candidate ever. He had those campaign ads where he's reading about Donald Trump to his kids. You know, and he's like, and then then President Trump said, "You're fired." Reading to his kids, like, "Oh my God,
I remember that. Yeah,
how can we
loser.
even understand the words that are coming out of your mouth when it's so filled with greasy cock?" But
and cringe. I just can't. It's too hard to. It's like, too much. I'm gonna my insides are just wanting to leap from my body.
Yes.
Like I just feel so uncomfortable with him talking.
He's not human. But so it's like there's these things that when you can really rile up some sort of feeling in either direction, then you can get people voting for it. You know, it's what got DeSantis elected, but it's also what got Florida to enact $15 minimum wage. You know, it's they did that. They also they're so unrepresented that they passed that referendum to give felons their voting rights back. And then the governor and the state Congress and stuff pretty much said,
Excuse me.
No, we're not going to do that. And they stopped doing it. It's like,
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it just shows, that people are better than what our
government.
representation shows, you know?
1000% agree. That's what I tell people every day at the door. It's like if people vote directly on reproductive rights issues, every single time, California, Kentucky, Kansas, it does not matter where we are. Every time people come to vote directly on reproductive rights issues, we always support reproductive rights. We'd never vote to take them away.
Even little things where it's
what does that say?
Yeah, representatives won't do shit about it, but as soon as you put it to a referendum, it was over 10 years ago now, Washington and Colorado legalized weed, by a pretty good margin. And it's you put it directly to the people, and now it's just a normal thing, you know?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's great. But
hell yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's you know what it really comes down to, Natalie? Politicians suck, bro. It's like they just lie all the time.
What's up with that?
It's like a big fucking scam. I don't get it.
It's like they talk out of both sides of their mouth or something.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's just, but I realize this, but
everyone is stupid except me.
And so I got to get the word out, you know? These clowns in Congress are at it again. What a bunch of clowns.
Sure are. Oh, yeah. They really, they're just weird people. It's just weird seeing them, up there talking, this debates and stuff, and just how so far removed they are from everything. Joe Biden and all this kind of stuff didn't want from president. Get that, whatever. I find it really nice that he cries. That he is Joe Biden's an emotional guy. Things upset him.
He doesn't know where he is. It's really overwhelming. He's where's my dad?
Things affect him.
Dad died
when he talks
45 years ago.
Horrible things. He's genuinely affected by people's trouble. At least he seems like he is, and he cries.
Do you remember?
But
do you remember Sandy Hook? It was disgusting what people said about President Obama, and whether
yes,
I'm no Obama knob slobber, but it was just
it's pretty cool.
You don't, yeah. I at least think he's a human being, and it's and I
with children,
if you're talking in detail about a school shooting. How can you not get emotional about it? Not even, you don't have to have kids. But especially if you do. I can't even, I can't even read the Wikipedia entry for Sandy Hook. I can't even get all the way through it. And so he's talking about it, and he gets choked up and all that stuff, and trying to get this message across. And they said crocodile tears. He's trying to take away our guns.
He must have had an onion in his pocket.
Oh
that's
my
what Fox News
God!
said.
It's
that's
projection.
That was an example to me for sure, where it's what? We're talking literally about 5-year-old children. These are practically still babies, with bullet holes in their bodies, and that doesn't that doesn't give you some kind of visceral reaction or some kind of sense of what the fuck, oh my God, this is really like, it's really, really upsetting. And instead they're just, this is politics.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the grossest thing to this is politics, I would say. I was going to say, you know, that
I hope you get
with
ass
our gun
cancer
violence-
and die,
Oh,
you
I
son
thought
of a
that's what you were
bitch.
gonna say.
was looking up some gun violence statistics and stuff, and this
fun.
one I came across was it was really fun. Gun violence for
I
youth
was
in
out in
America
the woods
with
doing homework, and I was like, let
yeah.
me look up some gun violence statistics.
Yeah, 17 and younger. This was these statistics. That there were, I think it was 2021, had over 2,500 deaths from guns. People 17 and younger, and what that comes out to is like 208 children a month, and it's almost 7 children every single day that are killed with a gun.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really crazy to think about, because when I think about it, I mean, it's really hard to think about, obviously, but like when parents find these children that are dead, like they have like bullet holes in them and like blood everywhere, and they're like
It's
dead.
visceral.
Like
these people are there.
Yeah,
it's quite a way to die.
And they're children. Like these are anywhere from 17 all the way down to babies, you know? And it just is really like I wish that there was a politician. I wish there were more politicians out there really like wailing and gnashing their teeth and genuinely being like, we have to do something. Like these are children dying from gun violence. This isn't, no offense, but this isn't like Somalia with like childhood soldiers.
Yeah.
These are like this. We should be like, it's not even close to other countries. Other countries don't even have gun violence in the top 4
kids aren't
of their
at
childhood
war,
deaths.
You know, it's like it's bad enough when a soldier is riddled with bullets and dies. That's still bad. You know, that's still someone dying.
Yeah.
It's like, but they're at war. Okay, children are not at war. Children are going to school. Children are having dinner and are hit with a bullet through their window. Things like that. Like, you know, no one deserves it. Even if you're at war, they don't deserve it.
Of course.
But wow.
But just,
I mean,
the way we talk about it though, it's like
it's true.
Like it's such a huge, like an epidemic. It's like you're talking about 7 kids every single day, not dying every day, dying from a gun.
Yeah.
This is not. There are still car accidents. There's still childhood disease.
Yeah.
There's still freak accidents and things
And
like
those
that.
are all good.
This is like,
but
yeah, we can be fine with those. No, but the fact that other nations that are like developing nations, developed nations like ours, like the top 33 or whatever, they don't even have gun violence in the top 4 causes of death for children, and we have it as the number 1.
Yeah.
It is so gross. That's something like about America that it's like, if we can't change that, like what about the children when they're literally getting gunned down every single day? I don't know. I don't know what the hope is for us, like as far as that goes.
Well, yeah, you know, there's something to be said for the harm to the discourse that the idea of facts don't care about your feelings has actually done. I mean, the idea that that something being emotionally loaded in any way whatsoever means that it is not logical, or means
Disagree,
that it
100%.
it means that it isn't a good argument. There's reasons that line of thinking exists, of course, but it doesn't, like, it shouldn't cancel out a message.
I think that emotions are logical. They do follow a sequence of events. Like you have these emotions for a reason, like you're feeling these things. And I think that like real like disgust and fear and all those things, like those are totally reasonable, logical reactions to have to the facts of childhood death. And like, you should care about your feelings about these things. Facts don't care about your feelings. It's like, well, facts, sure.
What do you got against
But you
feelings?
can feel a way about those facts. Like, you can also feel like those are facts, and you can feel a way about them because you should. You should feel some way about these horrible statistics. And if you don't, that's a whole other,
like the facts are there.
I don't know.
Maybe the emotions can play a part maybe in prioritization of what facts we worry about in some cases.
And
I mean, there's
and stuff,
like I said, there's reasons that you can't just be like, I mean, emotions can't rule the discourse because that's how people fall prey to propaganda, and stuff like that. Because and why, I mean, it goes hand in hand with like anecdotes don't rule over statistical facts and stuff, because that's emotionally it hits you emotionally instead of logically. But it's like when when it's a constant, like an immediate reaction to something so emotionally loaded is to disregard it because there's emotion involved is counterproductive, So
I would say that's what you got to lean into, because if it's heightened, if it's like that, it's like that for a reason. Like, you feel these very, very strong feelings.
Needs to be
for a reason.
Factical. We use that with our facts. That's the tactic. Like, we need to propagandize. Sorry, agitprop and propaganda on the side of the left. Someone on Twitter was just like, it's okay when your side does it, huh? And I was like, yeah, it is.
I always remember what you
You're
said,
wrong.
where I was like, we could cure racism, because racism is just based on ignorance and blah, blah, blah. People can be educated, and you can really cure some of these like social problems with education. And your response was like, because I was like, I should write an op-ed about it or whatever. And you were like, why won't we cure Why won't we cure racism? Why Soviet-style re-education camps are actually patriotic.
Yes, exactly.
I think that it's,
that's
really
your article
funny.
in the Washington Post. So, changing gears, I bought.
Oh, wait. Before we change gears, I want to say that there are people working on this. Amnesty International really works on the epidemic of gun violence in the United States and is working to pass a bill that would allocate 8 years worth of federal funding to the cities most affected by. But I wanted to do it while I'm still on the topic of gun violence, to say that, because I'm all like, what's to be done? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're doing it. We do it. People are always going to do it. So there's your little bright spot.
Over my anecdote. So, okay, whatever.
Now you can change.
Whatever.
Change
No,
tabs.
whatever. It's your show. It's whatever. This is the last episode.
Cool.
Bye. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was just gonna say I just I bought I got a good deal. I bought a wig for 25 cents. It was a small price to pay.
Nice. Nice. I like that.
That's what I was changing gears to. I was like, no. So we're like, and now we could say, what's something good? No.
Not that joke.
Yeah, exactly. That's to lead into something worthwhile. Let's see. Because we'll wrap this up anyway. But did you hear that? And this isn't a joke. Did you hear that India landed a craft on the moon, on the south side of the moon? And I didn't look it up. I just heard it on my morning news thing, and I just wrote down something real quick. But yeah, it's funny because I think they land just a lunar lander or something like that. Because when they first said the headline, I think it was NPR or PBS NewsHour. Those are the two things that go after my morning alarm. India landed on the moon, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I was like, okay, not people. I was like, damn, you think that'd be a pretty big story? What are they doing on the moon?
All over the news.
But they landed on the south side of the moon, which hadn't been landed on or something like that. So it's like the first craft to be down where they landed. But the funny thing is, for comparison, the operation for them to launch this and land on the moon cost less than the budget for the movie Interstellar. It's like, what a weird thing to think. But
that is really funny.
And
that's really,
yeah, let's see.
That's something.
Oh, and I'd written a while ago when all the alien stuff was going on in the news. But the reason that it was going on was like the whistleblowers, like the only interesting thing about the alien story, because I don't know whether to believe it. It's like, well, if you believe that, yes, the government has known a lot of this stuff and has just purposefully concealed it, you know, because then things about UFOs do come out and they're declassified, or whistleblowers and stuff like that. But it's like, so it turns out the government has found alien biology shit and UFOs, and instead of doing anything good, they spent 20 years silencing whistleblowers and spending millions of dollars on reverse engineering projects, all while saying that they're not. I was just like, man, what are our priorities here?
Why can't we know that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Why can't we know about aliens? Why do you guys, just because you happen to be elected officials, you get to know about this bullshit? You're
the people that know are
You're supposed
unelected.
To be us.
I mean, all these.
That's true.
Yeah. But it's just like, no, but it's classified. And this is like, why is that so weaponized when it comes to UFOs? Or, I mean, I guess to keep advanced technology or new ideas military-wise.
Cool,
it's like,
good idea.
But anything, what's wrong? What are we going to do? Well, we're all going to, like, burst into flames if you tell us about this? It's like, it's science. It's cool.
So you're okay. So, and you're going to tell me you're going to reverse engineer this alien technology so that when aliens do come, the only countries that will be able to defend themselves are the ones that
you have to be
have
a
the
member
technology.
of NATO.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool, guys. That's a really cool view. Like you would think that aliens would like unite us as a world, but instead we're like, no, even more mine. You can't have any of this technology, and we don't want any of you guys to know about it.
Boy.
I hate that. I think it's just really weird that it's like, well, why if aliens are here, wouldn't that be like something like the entire world would like really want to fucking know? Like really, like it'd be like, okay, I mean, I'm like, whatever, it's whatever to me, but
like, let's all hear about it. That's cool as fuck.
Let's all like advance as a species and know that there is life out there. We've been like looking for this. It'd be like, oh fuck yeah, cool. Like wow, there is stuff out there. Like we're gonna all just have an existential crisis and kill ourselves or something.
Exactly.
Most people are like, cool, yeah, aliens. Like I could barely afford my rent, so cool.
It's
but
like,
it would be like nice
maybe
to just
we'll have renewable
have some
energy
more,
in 20 years if that's the case. Cool.
It'd be nice to just like have more information, because like why can't we know it if it's true? Why can't people know it? And because a lot of that UFO stuff is probably like other countries doing stuff to each other,
That's
you know,
the thing, or it's
is
like,
some of it. But when it is aliens or whatever, it's like
even earthbound biological anomalies or things that we just, it's like, if it doesn't turn out to be aliens, it's new information, it's science, it's technology. It's like, why even spend the time, let alone the money, just to keep people from finding out what is going on? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's just such a weird, probably, Cold War mentalities that have just entrenched themselves in the military-industrial complex and in the Pentagon and things like that, where it's just like, come on, man. It's the 21st century. Like, we have the internet.
So
let's all you could be crowdsourcing some ideas here from the American people. All right? Let's go.
And I think that we get to have a say of like what we want to do with aliens. Like I think that your guys' like track record as far as like new peoples and stuff, not good. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say we have a
we can't tell you because you'll be mad when we colonize this planet.
You'd be mad when we slaughter all the peoples
all
that are
the
there.
alien mothers
You'll be all
and
like,
children.
You'll be all like rioting and stuff, and we'll have to kill you. And I don't want to because you're a part of the economy.
We'll have to turn the alien technology against our own people, and you don't want that, do you?
You want to make me do that? Is that what? Because that's what you'll make me
good.
do if you
The classic
make me tell
abusive
you.
relationship between an American citizen
That's
and
America.
their government.
That's America for you.
Yeah, there we go. Well, everyone keep on sliving, just as we are.
Slivin' and gribin'
Yeah.
and
Ugh. And I once read someone on Twitter saying, "Oh, that's so cute. I'm peeing out of my eyes right now." What the fuck, man? Come on, don't do that.
I hate that
it so much. Those people,
They're criminals and rapists.
that was way too loud. So that's supposed to wake you up at the end of the
wasn't quiet.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, how I wish I could believe or understand that.
Okay. I love you.
The episode? Yeah, I love you too. Shout out to R.M. Brown, our Lord and Savior, and all of these ding-dongs. All my favorite ding-dongs listening.
Yeah, exactly.
We love you.
Exactly. Oh, man. And everyone else?
Suck me from the back.
Okay. All right. Love you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, love you, bye.